My name's Jordan. I'm 22, about to turn 23, and I live in Roseville. In high school, I started self-harming and I withdrew quite a lot. And then I got to year 12 and I took on 3 major works, which is probably a very bad idea. And I ended up moving out of home actually because my home life was just so disruptive, and that's probably the most alone I've ever felt. I somehow managed to finish and I got into media at university, and then I started doing that. By this point, I was actually living with a long-term boyfriend of mine, and he was very supportive at the start and really helpful, but I just started to really backslide. Like, my depression just got on top of me, the anxiety got worse, and I was diagnosed with borderline personality. I went on to Reach Out and I read a lot about it, and it just helped me understand because it was written in a really a way that I could understand, I think. I started failing my way through university quite a bit, and in the end my boyfriend, I think, just found it a bit overwhelming and he broke up with me, which I massively backslid. That was around the time that I first tried to kill myself. My mum actually suggested that I admit myself to a psychiatric hospital, and I was there for a couple of weeks, and I actually found that really good because it set me up with a routine, and I met some other people who I actually could connect to for the first time in my life, and they understood, and there were psychologists there, and that was really helpful, and I thought I'd sort of gotten back on track. Came out of hospital and I just sort of slipped back into my old ways. And then sort of out of nowhere, I started doing CBT with one particular psychologist, and I found I really connected with her, and she was really helpful and started giving me a lot of tips and techniques to sort of manage my depression and anxiety. I was on a different kind of medication as well, which I think helped. And then with Reach Out as well, I've learned a lot about the whole self-care sort of aspect. And then I've started doing this volunteering with Reach Out, which I've found has given me a lot of it's made me happy actually.